What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Arch coming at you with another video in our series of guide videos. This one's going to be kind of basic, but I just want to try to add a little bit of spin and flavor on the character creation process. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through. I have my player's handbook here. I'm going to go through each of the steps. If you have your Force and Destiny player's handbook, you head on over to page 42. You can follow along. I'm just going to go by each step along the character creation process and try to add a little bit of insight and ideas on how you can increase the flavor and roleplay ability of your character when you're just starting out making somebody. So step one, it says to determine your background. I'm going to just repeat a point I made in a previous video. This is the point where I would pick my one thing. And by picking my one thing, what I mean is something that inspires me, something I can latch onto, something I can grasp onto, that makes me want to inhabit that character, that makes me want to play them. Something I think is interesting or useful to the group. The first character I ever made was like this Ithorian Jedi who wanted to, he had a quest to like save the herd by bringing a plant. You know, just that was the thing, man. I wanted to play a pacifist who, like, you know, wanted to save the herd. His whole thing was he just wanted a plant. So I mean, I don't know. That's one idea. I mean, that character is hard to play because he doesn't conflict very well. So I mean, I'm not advising that. I'm just saying find one thing that you can latch onto. Be it that, you know, maybe you want to be a pilot, maybe you want to be a mechanic, maybe you want to be very charismatic duelist like Dooku. You know, I keep bringing that up, but Makashi is one of the things that I like, so that's why it pops into my head. You know, maybe you want to flip and fly a lot like Yoda. Like, oh man, I want to get my Ataru on. You know, I want to do that. Maybe you want to play somebody who's more like Darth Maul, and you want to get that aggressor, and you want to go in there and really test the dark side. You know, those are things that you can say. You know, that's the flavor nugget that I want to get on. There's one of the later steps is choose a species. Sometimes the one thing I grasp onto is I want to do something about this species. Like one of the characters I built was built around the idea of sort of dual wielding like Ahsoka Tano. Because I hated her. You know, everybody who watched Clone Wars was like, oh, fuck Ahsoka. But then you watch her in Rebels and she's kind of cool. So that happened to me. I was like, oh man, Ahsoka's cool now. I want to explore this a little bit more. So I was like, let me build this character who's kind of like Ahsoka. So, you know, whatever. And then you can, once you have that flavor nugget, you can really get into this background section. The book itself has a breakdown list. I guess you can roll out. If you don't want to make up your own stuff, you can roll these little sections they have. And if you use OGG Dude to create your character, like a lot of people probably do, you know, you could just check those boxes. I prefer to have something a lot more organic and original. I just created. That's not to say you can't use those and then still have an organic and original character. I built a lot of characters using those, so that feel free to do that. And then, you know, you can come back to this section later. Don't feel like as you go along this step by step, if you follow the order, don't feel locked in like I've done that now, I can't go back. Until you play the character, you can always go back. So, but we're going to move on now because, you know, background is so varied and open, it's hard for me to really give that to you. I mean, the idea is to just be a whole person. So, I mean, pick that one thing and then create a whole person around it. That background is so big and you need to know it so well, like, it's hard for me to really get into it. I just advise you to go as deep as you can. That way, it's easy for you to inhabit and roleplay that person. And then you can bring up little flavor nuggets from what you made up as you roleplay them, and he'll seem more alive and seem more real and part of the world. So the next step on page 42 here as we're going along is to determine your morality. I also made a video about this, getting your emotions out. So this is a guide for making Jedi characters. So, you know, find the thing that's going to drive your emotional roleplay. I know that may be a little scary for new role players or people who have played more smash and grab type D&D, like emotions. Like, what am I, a girl? Like, no, dude, chill. Like, it's Jedi stuff, man. Like, that's fucking cool. So let's get down on that. You know, you really need to play up these emotions, man. I like to keep them linked. It says you can unlink them, which, I mean, that's fine. If you're an advanced role player in my game and like I've played with you and I know you play your emotions well, And you can do whatever the fuck you want in my game. Like if you're gonna play your emotions, no matter if it's your morality or not, it's always gonna be a center. That's straight. I mean, you know, being a quality role player, taking all these tips into account and really showcasing your abilities during a game is going to get you this leeway. But I mean, yeah, I like to keep them linked. They just match easier. It's also easier to GM these things and build them in if there's a character who you're having trouble drawing in to emotional role play. You can use their morality, and most people they'll play the positive no problem because it's to their benefit. So they're like, yes, I will play that. But they're reticent to do the negative emotions. So, you know, you got to try to draw them out sometimes. Maybe you've had a different experience. You know, comment down. Let me know what you think of that, and you know, we'll get a conversation going. So number 3 is your species. This is one of the greatest things about Star Wars ever. The varied nature of the species. Definitely try to check out. Maybe I'll put a link to it. Check out the Species Emporium or Compendium, a fan-made doc that just has a lot of different species collects all the species from the books and stuff. Really, really useful, really great, so you can get the character that you really want to play. Definitely run by your GM in whatever game you're in the fact that you might want to go off core book. Let them know, like, is that cool? Because there's some silly shit in there. Like, I didn't even realize one of the characters in Ashes to Ashes is actually he's a reduced size creature. He's a smaller silhouette size, which is I don't really get to that. I mean, he's large. He's not tiny. He's you know he's the top of the limit of that size, but it gives you statistical benefits that I would, unless I know the player's not a power gamer and he's just taking that so I can't ever kill this character and he's I'm invincible, I'm gonna fuck your game up. Like, I've never seen any shit like that in Tides of Change. I don't expect that to be an issue, but you got to be cognizant. You got to be vigilant. Your vigilance must be high, baby. So, you know, my vigilance is high. So yeah, man, species is a great place to go if you do want to have an effective character, if you want to have like a maximized character. Because when you're starting out, it's the only time you can up your characteristics, which we'll get to later. So, you know, pick a species that has a boost in something that you want and has the drop somewhere that you can live with. Because I like to roleplay my stats. So definitely keep that into account. If you can pick a species that fits what you're going for, fits the idea you have of how this character is going to play and how he is, you know, find a character that fits you, and that'll make it more fun and enriching for you to play. And also, some of the species are super cool. Like, you can get so much flavor. Like, if you were to play a Bith, you know, you can really play off their auditory senses. If you were to play like a Gran or one of the dog species or whatever, you know, you have that increased perception because you smell so well. You know, you can play up species things to really add flavor to your character that you know. It's not even really any type of you probably won't even find it in the book, man. You just add it in just for fun to add flavor and character. So the next one is probably the thing most people will focus on most. It's where the most of your experience and stuff is going to go later on, your career and your specialization. I don't really know what to tell you here. I mean, I'm going to do a lot more in-depth videos on role-playing your career and your specialization. But I will just say, you know, number one, if you want to be lightsaber, if you want to be a awesome lightsaber combatant, pick one of the main forms that changes your skill or whatever. You don't even have to change it. Here, Plinto, my character in Ashes to Ashes, does not. He's a fuck, is he Nimon? I think he's Nimon. I think he's a Nimon specialist, and which changes his shit to like willpower or something like that. But he uses brawn. He doesn't even use it, but he has it because that's a good tree for lightsaber fighting. Just you know, if that's a goal, pick one of those. Otherwise, you can really pick based on a lot of other roleplay choices, you know, like the Mystic or the Consular, really force-driven characters. Obviously, the Warrior is... Do I have to fucking even say words after that? I mean, it's a fucking warrior, dude. You like to fight. You fight. I don't even know if I need to make that video, baby. There it is right there. You got it. You know, there's other ones. Guardian is a little bit more nuanced. He's like a diplomat type of guy. You know what? No, here's a consular. Here's a consular. He's consular Nemon disciple, I think. Anyways, we're getting off track. Let's move along, man. We're gonna get into that in more depth in a separate series of videos. But suffice to say, if you can't get your role play off those two choices, I mean, we need more videos than this. This is not going to do the trick for you. Career specialization. We're moving on to page 44 now, and we're at invest your experience points. So this is where a beginning character can make a mistake. If you're going to play in a long-running campaign that's going to be getting a lot of XP, put your points in your characteristics. Don't even play if you want to get a force power for some reason, or maybe you definitely want to get the first couple of things in your specialization so you can change your lightsaber skill. Fine, 20 points or so. Okay, go ahead and spend them on skills or whatever you might want. But put as much of your beginning XP as you can in your characteristics, because this is the only chance to increase them. So do it now for investing experience points. I'm going to jump back to the career and specialization sections and say, if you have skills that you want for your character, look at careers and specializations that offer those skills. And we'll talk about that more in depth as we get to skills. Okay, so I guess investing your experience points is skills. So this is the time to talk about it. You get some free skill points from your career and your specialization. So I'm just going to open to a page where I got Soresu Defender right here. The career skills for Guardians are Brawl, Cool, Discipline, Melee, Resilience, and Vigilance. So from those, you get to pick 3 and get 1 free point. And the additional career skills, you get to pick 2 of those. They're different. I'm not going to read them because it doesn't matter. But, well, I'll read them. Discipline, Knowledge, Lore, Lightsaber, and Vigilance. So if you notice, you have Discipline and Vigilance twice on there, which means that you could have rank 2 as a Soresu Guardian on your Vigilance and your Discipline, if you wanted to, if you took that, which is high. That, I mean, if you had, I think that's off willpower. So if you had built a character with high willpower, maybe you have a 4 stat in your willpower, and then you get 2. You start off with 2 in Discipline and Vigilance. That's a very potent roll that you start off with at the beginning of the game. That's a great roll. I mean, you might, people are going to be rolling that roll that you just made at higher levels, because that's pretty fucking good roll. So take advantage of that to get the skills you want your first session. After that, invest in skills freely, because you can't put them in your attributes. So the next one is determine your derived attributes. Now this is another, I want to drive home that you should have spent your experience points on characteristics, because those are your derived attributes come from your characteristics. That's not why you need to put them in there, but that's why I'm mentioning it again. Your derived attributes, I mean, you can role play those just by, effectively describing your combat and stuff like that, or how you move, because encumbrance, I guess, is a derived attribute. So if you have a lot of shit on you, you should act like you're carrying a pack, because you probably are. Or if you're, at your strain threshold, you should be crying. You should be complaining about being tired and needing to rest. So I mean, just keep that in mind. If you're at your wound threshold, you're passed the fuck out, and roleplay is left the building. You're done. you better hope your GM isn't trying to kill you. We're gonna move along to motivation. This to me is just completely tied into backstory, and if you this is where I might even say start working with your group, start working with your GM. It might say that here, and I'm not saying, oh yeah, maybe it does. Anyways, yeah, definitely talk to your guys and say, what type of campaign are we running, and so that's where this is going to come from. I can't really give you too much tips there. I mean, obviously tie it all together would be my best tip. Make sure that this motivation has connections to the rest of your character and make it fit in. Don't just pick something because Well, how am I going to get with the group? Well, just let me just say that. Let me just say this Deus Ex Machina type shit so I can go do the missions now. Fuck that, dude. Like, make a real motivation that makes sense for your character. If you have to go back and readjust things to make the motivation you like make sense, or to find a motivation, dude, do that. It's cool. Talk to your GM. Maybe they have some ideas. Let them help you. They're probably more than willing to do that. But we're gonna move on because I feel like that's very, very game specific, based on what type of game, or what when, and everything like that. So the last step, or the second to last step, is your choose your gear and appearance. This probably is your last step. The last step is determine group resource, which is you might not even be able to do that. So gear and appearance, you have to use your starting credits and stuff. When you did your morality, you had the option of getting some extra credits or some extra XP. If you got the credits, you can use them now. If not, you probably don't have a lot of options. Get some robes and a comm link and some stim packs, and anything else you may like, breath masks or binoculars or any other flavor thing, data pad, things that you might want that would make sense for your character. Definitely make all your gear choices make sense for your character. Like a lot of the characters I make don't even get a weapon because they're diplomats, they're talkers, they're not fighters. Well, they may fight, they may brawl, but they don't. Like I told you in my last video, you get your brawl on. You want to be getting your brawl on. So yeah, and appearance wise, I mean, if you can't get your appearance on roleplay, then we're back to square one. I mean, use that gear choice to flavor how you look. Don't feel obligated to make it basic. Always, I mean, the book is going to tell you what colors are your species generally, what color are your eyes and your hair and your tentacles or whatever you have. Stick to that. Don't leave off that. If you're a Twi'lek, don't say that you're fucking, I don't know, what color can Twi'lek not be? I got like every color. Let me pick a better example. If you want to play like a Mary Allen, don't say that you're red, because Mary Allen don't come in red. But play it up, man. So like if you pick a Mary Allen, make up your tattoos, man. Say what your tattoos mean to you, and say when you got them and how you got them and where why. So I mean that's some flavor. I would always be trying to do that. If you're a Wookiee, do you have a belt like Chewie had? Do you have a satchel? Do you have your bowcaster? A bowcaster, I guess. I mean, it's not like every Wookiee gets. You're Wookiee boyhood. Here's your bowcaster, like a BB gun in America, baby. Here's your BB gun. You're 14. Get your BB gun. Yeah, man. I really feel bad if I have to help you make your character look cool. Like, I'm here to help you make your character be super cool, like in game. If you're not good at role playing, I mean, if you can't make him look cool, just go online and look for cool pictures and use that to help you make him look cool. I mean, he's a Jedi, number one, so he probably doesn't wear super flashy clothes. One thing I do like to do for my gear and my appearance is design my lightsaber if I get the opportunity, and customize my hilt. There's an actual pay modification in the game, attachment thing, where you can get the superior hilt modification, which I tend to try to get if I can afford it. But short of gaining any statistical benefit, I like to describe my hilt to look cool and feed my enjoyment of the character, man, because being able to pull out something that I've described as awesome makes me feel more awesome. So that's about it. I appreciate you guys watching the video. I'm sorry this probably wasn't the most informative of videos, but it's a series of guide videos, and this is one of the most basic things that you got to get it out, you got to get it done. So I'll touch base on those, and obviously we're going to have more in-depth content for more of these subjects, and we already do have a little bit of that. So please check out my prior videos if you're looking for anything on emotions or lightsabers or anything like that. I have videos like that already. Anyways, y'all have a good day. It's your boy Arch. Good night.